The footage they shouldn't have. At 2 a.m., deep inside the Australian wilderness, a thermal camera was watching an empty forest. Rain hammered the ground. Wind tore through the trees. There was almost no movement anywhere. Then, something entered the frame. A kangaroo. But it wasn't feeding. It wasn't wandering. It was running. And behind it, something was following. Low to the ground. Moving silently. Its nose almost touching the earth. It wasn't hunting the way a fox hunts. It wasn't moving like a dingo. It was tracking. Then the animal disappeared into the darkness. The camera caught only seconds of the encounter. But the next day, investigators reportedly found something disturbing. A dead adult kangaroo. Its neck badly injured. Its internal organs removed. And beside the carcass, a fresh scat. Not on the body. Not accidentally dropped. Placed nearby. As if the animal responsible had left a final signature. And that's where this story gets disturbing. Because there is a predator in Australia's history that was once described as killing in a remarkably similar way. An animal that was declared extinct decades ago. The thylacine. The Tasmanian tiger. Officially, the last known captive thylacine died in Hobart Zoo in 1936. But what if the official extinction date was wrong? What if one of Australia's most famous extinct animals survived longer than anyone was willing to admit? And what if government wildlife officers themselves encountered it? Because in 1982, one government wildlife officer claimed he did exactly that. He didn't see a shadow. He didn't see something running through the trees. He said he watched the animal for 3 full minutes. And then he filed an official report. What happened next is the part that still raises questions. The report wasn't immediately released. Instead, a secret search began. And according to later accounts, the scientist sent to investigate was telling locals he was studying eagles. He wasn't. He was looking for a tiger. So why hide the search? And why, decades later, are reports of possible thylacines still appearing? Tonight, we're going back through the evidence. The sightings. The government files. The failed searches. The scientists. And the question Australia has never completely answered. Did the Tasmanian tiger really disappear in 1936? Or did we simply stop finding it? The animal that disappeared. For thousands of years, the thylacine lived across Tasmania and parts of mainland Australia. It looked almost unreal. A dog-like body. A long, stiff tail. Powerful jaws. And dark stripes running across its back. But by the 20th century, its population had collapsed. Habitat loss. Human persecution. Competition with introduced predators, and government bounties all contributed to its decline. Then came the final documented chapter. A captive thylacine died at the Hobart Zoo. 6 decades of sightings followed. Farmers, hunters, bushwalkers, police officers, and wildlife professionals. Most were dismissed. Misidentified dogs, foxes, feral cats, optical illusions, wishful thinking. But every once in a while, a report came from someone who knew exactly what they were looking at. And one of those reports came from inside the government itself. The man in the rain. March 1982. Northwestern Tasmania. A government wildlife officer named Hans Narding was working in the wilderness. The weather deteriorated. Rain moved through the forest. Visibility collapsed. Narding eventually stopped his vehicle and settled in for the night. Then something woke him. It was around 2 a.m. He reached for his spotlight, opened the window, and swept the beam across the darkness. Then the light stopped. Approximately 6 or 7 meters away stood an animal. According to Narding's report, it appeared to be a large thylacine. He didn't see it for half a second. He didn't glimpse it through binoculars. He said he watched it for roughly 3 minutes. He described the stripes, the body, the eyes, and the animal's jaw. Then it disappeared into the forest. Narding couldn't take a photograph. His camera was out of reach, and he feared that moving could end the encounter. So he watched. Then he drove away. And he did something that would change the story forever. He reported what he had seen. The file that disappeared. A wildlife officer reporting an extinct animal should have triggered an enormous scientific investigation. Instead, according to later accounts, the report remained confidential for approximately 15 months. No press conference. No public announcement. No immediate nationwide search. Instead, an investigation was conducted quietly. And one of the people involved was a young biologist named Nick Mooney. Mooney later became one of Australia's best-known thylacine researchers. But during the search, there was a problem. People living around the area kept asking him what he was doing in the forest. According to an account later published by journalist Brooke Jarvis, Mooney told them he was studying eagles. But he wasn't. He was searching for the animal Narding claimed to have seen. That raises a fascinating question. Why would a government investigation into a potentially living extinct species need to be conducted in secret? There are several possible explanations. Protecting the location. Avoiding crowds. Preventing false reports. Protecting the witness. Or simply avoiding public hysteria. We don't know for certain. But we do know what happened next. The search began. And the forest was combed for evidence. The search. For approximately 2 years, researchers searched the region. Tracks. Scat. Possible dens. Animal trails. Anything that could prove the thylacine was still alive. But nothing definitive appeared. No body. No confirmed photograph. No DNA. No undeniable physical evidence. Eventually, the search ended, and the report became public. The story exploded. Journalists arrived. Television crews followed. Narding suddenly found himself at the center of a worldwide mystery. The attention became overwhelming. In later accounts, he described the experience as a curse. The man who had simply reported what he believed he had seen had become one of the most famous thylacine witnesses in Australia. But there was another detail. According to accounts of the case, Tasmania's wildlife director at the time regarded Narding's observation as exceptionally credible. And that's what made the case so unusual. Because this wasn't just a random person saying, "I think I saw a tiger." It was a trained wildlife professional, working for the same government that officially considered the animal extinct. And the agency didn't immediately dismiss him. It investigated. Quietly. For years. Then it happened again. 13 years later. Another government wildlife officer reported something remarkably similar. January 25, 1995. Northeastern Tasmania. A ranger named Charlie Beasley was working in dense bushland. Before sunrise, he noticed an unfamiliar animal across a gully. He watched it. According to his later description, it had dark stripes across its back, a long tapered snout, and a body shape consistent, in his view, with a young thylacine. Beasley reported the sighting. Again, the government investigated. Again, no definitive physical evidence was found. And again, the case eventually went nowhere. 2 wildlife professionals. Different locations. Different years. Same extinct species.